No, we don't have to sit in any special posture. It is not necessary. Only we have to keep our backbone erect. We have to sit in a erect position so that we can breathe in properly. Otherwise, we don't have to have a cross-legged position or any austere position in order to practice yoga. Yoga does not demand that kind of austerity. Only we have to be very straight so that our breathing system can be regulated properly. The best way is to study spiritual books than to mix with only spiritual people, and then to take help from a spiritual master. If you have a spiritual master, he will tell you what to do. But if you do not have, then it is better to start with spiritual books.
What is yoga?
Yoga means man's conscious union with God. Now we have a vague feeling that God is within us, but if you practice yoga, then it becomes a practical reality.
Does yoga mean more than oneness with God? Does it mean that we have to act a certain way?
If we practice yoga, naturally we shall be kind and polite to others. But yoga does not mean that you have to be indifferent, aloof. No, on the contrary, he who practices yoga will be extremely kind and polite, and he can be sociable too.
Some people who say they practice yoga are often rude to others. Why is that?
Why they are rude to others, I will not be able to say, but they are not doing the right thing. Yoga means conscious union with God. That means we have to see and feel the presence of God in others. So if you have to see and feel the presence of God in others, how can you be rude to others?
Guru, how do you meditate?
If someone has read about yoga and meditated on their own, should they seek a guru?
Yes, they should seek a guru, because a guru is the one who can expedite their spiritual knowledge, spiritual wisdom, spiritual journey. So it is necessary. If one studied books, it is good, it will be to his advantage. But mere studying will not be enough to grant someone realization. Otherwise, you can go to a bookstore and read all spiritual books and then get realization, which is impossible. But if you read books and have a master, then it adds to your own inspiration and aspiration, book reading.
What do gurus demand from their disciples, and what should the disciple expect from the guru?
Each guru demands from the disciple sincerity and purity and regularity, which its disciple must show. If the disciple does not have sincerity or purity, then he cannot make good progress. Aspiration a disciple has, otherwise he would not have stayed with the guru. Each master makes his own demand, but we use the term demand, which is totally wrong. Only he tells what is best for his disciples. In the spiritual life, there is no such thing as demand. It is only making aware somebody else of what he has to do and what he is not to do.
How do gurus help their students, their disciples, in their outer life, their daily life?
In the daily life, the gurus can help their disciples by giving by divine advice, suggestions. Guru is he who has more wisdom in the inner world. Now it is from the inner world he gets the messages and then tells the disciple to do the thing in the outer life. Outer life has no meaning, has no life itself, even the outer world, without the inner life. Now most of us do not get the message from the inner life, so whatever the mind tells us, immediately we try to execute. So the gurus first enter into the soul of the heart of the seeker and then tells the seeker what his soul wants him to do. So the gurus are like secret thieves. They enter into the heart of the seekers and bring down their messages or wealth from the disciple and then offers them to the disciples.
God realization sounds like such a difficult goal. Why do people strive to attain it?
In this world, people strive to attain something because they get satisfaction after the attainment of that particular thing. It is very easy for me to drink a glass of water. But if I drink a glass of water, nobody is going to appreciate me, nobody is going to admire me, or let us say we don't, in the spiritual life, we don't need appreciation and admiration. But I myself will not be satisfied after drinking the water. Whereas if I do something more meaningful and more significant, then I will be satisfied. God realization is the most difficult task, is the most difficult, let us say. But if we realize God, then we shall be totally satisfied. It is for our abiding satisfaction, everlasting satisfaction, that we like to realize God.
What is the human soul really like?
The human soul inside us is a divine portion of our divinity, or you can say this soul represents our God, the Almighty Father within us. It is, according to our Indian philosophy, this soul is neither masculine nor feminine. It is neutral, let us say. So again, we can see the soul in a physical form, in a subtle physical, most beautiful, infinitely more beautiful than a human being. That time you can see the soul, most beautiful. You can't express, you can't define the soul. But if you practice yoga, if you pray and meditate, then we feel the presence of the soul, and then finally we can see the soul even with our naked eyes. First we see with our third eye, then when we develop inner capacities, we can see even with our eyes wide open or even with our eyes closed.
Can a spiritual master, a real spiritual master, help the soul of a disciple?
Certainly, a real spiritual master must have the capacity to help the soul of a seeker. As a matter of fact, if he is a real master, every day, either in the morning or in the evening, he has to feed the soul of the seeker, of his disciple. With the spiritual power, occult power, it is like feeding. If you have children, early in the morning, first thing you do is to feed the children. It is your bounden duty to feed the children. So here, when a spiritual master accepts disciples, they become his spiritual children. Now inside the spiritual children is the real hunger. As a child gets hungry, so also inside the human being, is spiritual disciple, is the real hunger. Then this hunger is of the soul. So the spiritual master has to feed the soul inside the spiritual disciple every day.
Can the disciple feel that feeding?
The disciples must feel it if they are in tune with the master. Otherwise, they will be unconscious. Master is meditating on them and they are perhaps sleeping. But if they themselves meditate, they will be able to feel it. And it need not be at the same time. Suppose the master has meditated on you at 5 o'clock in the morning, at that time you are fast asleep, and you meditated at 7 o'clock. While you are meditating, it is all preserved. While the master meditated on you, it was all preserved inside your being. And when the time came for you to meditate at 7 o'clock, you are bound to feel it.
Is there life after death?
Life after death is inevitable. Why? If only one incarnation we have, if there is only one life on earth, then it is simply impossible for us to accomplish the things that we would like to accomplish. At the age of 4, we had something to accomplish, a kind of desire that we complete or we fulfill at the age of 50, 60. So, God being all satisfaction, He will not allow us to remain unsatisfied. He will always want us to be fully satisfied. In one incarnation, we will not be able to fulfill our aspiration. In one incarnation, we may not reach the highest. So, here we have life, and then we pass through a tunnel, you can say, which you call death. Then we take little rest when we reach the destination or goal's realm of consciousness. Then we come back again. We believe in reincarnation. If there is no reincarnation, no soul would be able to manifest the ultimate truth in one incarnation.
Can meditation help people overcome their fear of death?
Certainly, the meditation can easily help the seeker to overcome the fear of death. Meditation means here conscious communication with God. Now, if one can establish his oneness with God, which is all light, then there can be no fear of death. Not only fear of death he will conquer something else. He will conquer doubt, his own doubt as regards the existence, God's existence in his life or in others' life. Now it is very easy for us to feel that God exists only in us or only in spiritual people. But if you meditate, it becomes clear to us that God exists not only within us, but inside the people whom we do not like or appreciate.
Guru, is yoga really for everybody?
Yoga is for everybody. Only thing is that if one is sincere, then one can make better progress. If one is insincere, then he will take a long time to reach his goal.
How can a person tell which guru they should follow?
Right. Each person has likes and dislikes. Now, if you like someone, then you talk to that person, you mix with that person, he becomes your friend. In the spiritual life also, when you look at a guru, if you feel some inner affinity, if you feel that he is a man whom you can trust, or he has the thing that you need from your spiritual life, and if the moment you see him, if you get a kind of confidence in him and also confidence in yourself that you'll be able to listen to him, then he is the right person. He who gives you utmost joy is the real teacher, real master for you.
But how can you tell whether you're linking up with a fake or not?
That only you will know from your personal experiences. Somebody may be a fake, he may deceive you for 2 days or 2 months or 2 years, then you will know him. But usually it happens that if the person sincere is very sincere, extremely sincere, then he goes to the right person. Again it happens, the seeker may be very sincere, but he goes to a wrong person. Then the experience that he gets helps him in some other way, that he will be very careful in this world in assessing people or in mixing with people. No experience is totally lost. An individual may delay his progress for a year or two, but he will be very strong inwardly, and he will not make the same mistake, and from the mistake that he has made, he will get an added experience. He will be careful, cautious when he wants to do something for the world or wants to get some help from some human beings.
What are the ways that a God-realized master can help his disciples realize God?
What are the ways? The God-realized master will meditate on the disciple, on the seeker, and bring forward his soul. This is one way. The other way, through constant outer concern and inner encouragement that you are doing the right thing. Or if you do something wrong, then he immediately point out, this is something wrong you are doing. So it is through meditation, through his inner meditation and through his outer concern, he will be able to help. If you are doing something good, he will say that go on. There is no end to our achievement. If you do something wrong, then immediately he will prevent you from doing it again. And the most important thing a spiritual master does is he enters into the soul, into the inner being of the disciple and feeds the child, divine child, and then helps the seeker to bring to the fore all his divine qualities. And for that, the student also, the disciple also, must have implicit faith in the master. Otherwise, if he does not have enough faith, the master will bring down or bring to the fore divine qualities, but he won't be able to utilize them, the seeker.
What is God realization and how do we attain it?
How do we attain it? It is through prayer and meditation we attain it. And God realization is one's complete confidence in oneself. Now, here we have to know that if somebody says he is God realized, how will he prove it? He won't prove it by showing two big horns or something peculiar in his body. Only he will be able to prove that he has realized God to others by bringing down peace, light and bliss from above in infinite measure. When you see a spiritual master, physically he may look very odd, he may have all kinds of defects in his body, but you will try to see consciousness in him, try to feel consciousness in him. In his presence, if you feel that your consciousness is elevated, then he has realized some truth, some light, some peace from above, from the beyond. Now, God realization means one's conscious oneness with God, and in conscious oneness one feels complete satisfaction. Here, to come back to your question, if you say categorically what is God realization, I will say complete inner satisfaction is God realization. And then when it will be God manifestation, then I can say that complete satisfaction in the outer life as well. Now God realization will give satisfaction in the outer life, true. But when there are people with whom a spiritual master has to deal are imperfect, impure and so forth, there you cannot expect perfection. Whereas it is a matter of realization. If the master has realized God, then in his inner life he is perfect. In his outer life, if he has to become perfect, since he has accepted the members in his family, then it depends on the perfection of the disciples as well. So God realization is constant inner satisfaction, and God manifestation is also constant satisfaction in one's outer life.
Guru, could you tell us about Om? What happens when you chant?
When we chant Om, we enter into a higher realm of consciousness. Om is a Sanskrit word, syllable you can say. It embodies our Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, God in three aspects: God the creator, God the preserver, and God the transformer. Now, transformer we say, but there are many who are of the opinion that God the destroyer, not transformer. But our philosophy says God is all kind to us. How can he destroy? He can only transform the things that are undivine in us. He cannot destroy. He knows how bad we are. Why did he create us if he has to destroy us? God has some wisdom. He will not create something and just for the sake of fun, and then he will destroy it for the sake of fun. No. He does not destroy us, only he transforms us. Anything that is undivine in us, he transforms. God. So Om means Sanskrit mantra. It is the mother of all mantra. Mantra means incantation. If you chant Om most soulfully, you don't have to do anything to realize God. That is enough. Because God in three aspects you are invoking.
Would you chant for us, Guru? What happens inside you when you do that?
When I do that, I feel inside my heart immediately the presence of the cosmic gods and the Supreme. When we chant, we feel that we are feeding our nearest and dearest ones. They are hungry and we have to feed them. This is the experience I get, and again I get sometimes other experience that I am hungry and they are feeding us. Sometimes they are hungry, at that time I feed them. Sometimes I am hungry, they come and they feed me. It is all. We have to nourish each other, one another. When I am hungry, you have to come and feed me. When you are hungry, I am feeding. I have to feed you.
Why are your eyes half closed so often?
My eyes I keep half closed because I feel that this is the effective way that I can have full control over the physical world and also the spiritual world. If I keep like this way, at that time my eyes are very strained and only I see what is happening in this world, and nothing in the inner world. But if I keep it like this, I am communicating with my inner beings, and at the same time I am seeing the outer beings, human beings who are in front of me. So I am killing two birds with one stone. In the inner world, I am getting the wealth from the inner world and distributing it to the outer world.
Guru, when you enter into a trance and go into samadhi, what does it actually feel like? Do you see God there, or do you feel certain kinds of experiences?
At that time, I see God, I commune with God, and a sense of separativity goes away. There, the lover and the beloved become totally one. I enjoy infinite peace, light, and bliss. That time, we do not see God as something to be achieved or something foreign to us. His whole consciousness inundates us to such an extent we don't feel that God is somebody else. At that time we feel that we have become totally one with God, and He and we are absolutely one. So when I go into the samadhi, I enjoy infinite peace and joy and love in the inner world.
Guru, how would you describe the people who have become your disciples?
I will describe them as my own spiritual children, and my love for them is boundless and infinite. But I will not say that my children are by far superior to others. In the ordinary family, parents will always extol their children to the skies. They will say, my children, oh, they are all divine, they are all absolutely divine, supreme, they are all realized, absolutely. They are perfection. But in my case, I will say, no, my children have imperfection, they have limitations. but they are trying. As others, also spiritual masters have their spiritual children, they are teaching their spiritual children in a way I am teaching my children in my own way. But when it is a matter of comparison, I will not say that our children are superior to others. Only will say that our children are eating the food that I have in my refrigerator. They like my food, so I am giving them this food. And others do not like my food, therefore they go to other masters and they eat there. So if you ask me how I compare them with others, I will say here there is no comparison, only I teach them what they should do. I always tell my children not to make any comparison. You like me, you love me, and I love you. That is enough. It is our mutual love that has compelled us to stay together in the same boat. Otherwise, they would go to some other boat if they feel that they have no love for me and I have no love for them. If they feel, naturally, they will go to other masters. To come back to your question, it is the love aspect of our inner life that has made me very close to you all, and it is also your love for me that has made very close to, has made you so close to me. Our path is the path of love. We feel that love is the greatest knowledge, greatest wisdom, greatest discovery and treasure. So it is our love that has made us one, not bound us one. Real love does not bind. Real love only makes us one, complete, whole. So we are offering divine love. This love is the love of oneness. And when this oneness can be manifested totally, the universal heart becomes our. Right now we have a limited heart, very limited. But when you are one with me, he is one with me, she is one with me, then we become universal. So when we have the universal consciousness at our disposal, we feel that we are perfect.